Hi, I'm Chey, and today, March 6th, is World Lymphedema Day. I was diagnosed with lymphedema late last year, and it took me nearly a decade to get diagnosed. And I hope making a video like this can help someone get diagnosed quicker than I did. World Lymphedema Day aims to raise awareness about lymphedema while providing support and recognition to those living with it. You might be asking, what is lymphedema? Lymphedema is a chronic condition that causes abnormal and persistent swelling in your body. Lymphedema is a disruption to the lymphatic system, a major body system that helps clean toxins and debris from the body. And lymphedema is more common than you think. Up to 10 million Americans and hundreds of millions worldwide suffer from lymphedema and lymphatic diseases. Lymphedema treatments often require bandaging, compression garments, and lymph drainage massages. How is lymphedema managed? Lymphedema requires lifetime management and vigilant self-care. An early diagnosis means lymphedema can be better managed, but many physicians do not understand this disease or recognize it early. People with chronic swelling need to see a physician with expertise in lymphedema. Lymphedema can be extremely painful. In addition to the lymphedema swelling, the individual may also have chronic pain in the affected areas. This pain can be severe and debilitating. Lymphedema management often requires several hours a day devoted to putting on compression garments, being vigilant about skincare, using a pneumatic compression device, a pump. Lymphedema cannot be cured, but it can be managed. Lymphedema signs and symptoms include persistent swelling, a feeling of heaviness, fullness, or tightness in affected areas, chronic pain in the affected areas, limbs appear to be slightly different sizes, restricted range of motion, recurring infections, hardening and thickening of the skin, also known as fibrosis. Unfortunately, this video is too long to fit on Twitter, so I just wanted to post a little intro to this and just really say to advocate for yourself and your conditions no matter what you have. I hope that you're taken more seriously than I was at some points, and you will get answers, and you will find a treatment plan, you will find a care plan, and things will get better. And there are two types of lymphedema, secondary and primary. Secondary lymphedema is the most common type, and that is generally caused from cancer, surgery, trauma, or an injury. Primary lymphedema comes from rare inherited conditions that affect how your lymphatic system develops. I have primary lymphedema. Once I was diagnosed, I still had issues with doctors not believing that I have this condition, even though they can physically see it. Please keep advocating for yourself and keep a binder of your symptoms, visits, etc., anything that you need to. Switch doctors if you have to. The earlier the diagnosis, the better, especially with lymphedema. You really want to contain the swelling as much as you can. Is lymphedema treatment expensive? Lymphedema treatment causes financial burdens that can be devastating. Compression garments, especially if custom made, can cost thousands of dollars. Insurance often does not provide much, if any, coverage. I did take questions from my Discord, so I figured I would answer them here and put them in this video. What were some of the symptoms that made it ultimately point to lymphedema? One day I just had chronic swelling in my limb. The swelling never went away once it randomly appeared, and it was really painful. It just continued to get worse. My whole life changed that day. It took me many years, but I finally saw a doctor who could figure out what it was. What are the long-term effects of this? You have a higher risk of getting certain cancers, and the fact that I just have to live with it. I permanently have chronic swelling and pain that never goes away. I can't remember a day that I didn't have chronic pain or swelling. I just don't. There's also a big mental toll with this, and I'm just always thinking about my condition. I can't wear things that I want to, I can't go out as much as I want to, or do the things that I want to all the time. It affects my self-esteem, and it just feels like it controls my life sometimes. How has being diagnosed with lymphedema affected your daily life? Well, it completely changed my routine. I wear 3 layers of compression during the day from the moment that I wake up, and I also sleep in 2 layers of compression at night as well. I have to always be compressed unless I'm in the water, like showering or swimming. I even have a compression machine to use once a day for an hour. And I even have to wear compression to the beach, to weddings, anywhere I go. I have to exercise and move enough, but not too much. And my goal is to contain my swelling and just prevent it from getting worse. I dedicate a lot of time to my condition every day. It takes a big toll on me mentally and physically. But getting diagnosed opened me up to the door of my treatments and to my care plan. I had no idea what I had or what to do with my condition. With my treatments, I lost over 2 cups of fluids in my affected areas from 1 week of bandaging. Now I have medical grade compression, and I have custom night compression. I have a compression machine, and I know that I need to exercise when before I was being inactive because I thought that would make it worse. Is there anything uncommon slash unexpected of lymphedema you feel people should have more knowledge and understanding about? Yeah, 1, that lymphedema exists. 2, and I wish that people understood the mental toll that lymphedema takes. Like, you can physically see it, but there's also a big mental toll to it as well. It affects my mindset about my body, my self-esteem, and the world around me. Even though I do try to stay positive. A lot of people don't know about the higher risk of infections or blood clots. What are some of the ways you cope with it? Honestly, I had a really hard time coping with it once I was diagnosed. 4 to 5 months after my diagnosis, I was given my care plan, and it involved that routine that I just talked about previously. And it was a lot. I felt really overwhelmed, and I was sad, but also angry. And I hated that I had to dedicate so much time and effort to this condition that ruined my life for the last 10 years. But after about 3 months of doing everything that I needed for my routine, it just felt like brushing my teeth. It just felt like another part of my daily habit. It no longer felt like a huge chore that soured my mood or was like a big weight on my shoulders. I don't know what caused that switch to flick, but it did, and I'm happy about it. My swelling is the least bad that it's been since it started. Other things that I do, I like to game in bed. You'll sometimes see me playing DBD on Steam Deck if you're my Steam friend. Or I play on my phone. I like watch streams on my phone. Or if you see me shit posting on Twitter for like an hour or 2 at a time, I'm probably laying in bed compressing with my machine or just in too much pain to be at my computer. And sometimes I just need to go out. I just need to like go walk around a mall, go to a park. I just need to get some fresh air. I need to leave my house and just focus on the world being bigger than me or my condition and seeing how beautiful it is. Were there any instances or symptoms or situations growing up that you look back on and you're like, oh, that makes sense, having this diagnosis explaining it? No, the only thing that happened was one day I had chronic swelling when I never had any other issues of this sort in my life. Do you know anyone else who has it, personal, close or not? Only online, a few people. And only after either of us reaching out after my diagnosis, I was vaguely tweeting about my condition. And if you have lymphedema, I'm sure you were able to parse together that I had lymphedema. So a few people reached out to me about that, and that was really cool. How can people help those with lymphedema? Still invite those with lymphedema out to events, gatherings, even if they can't partake in everything there. And please don't bring attention to the swelling. Please, just don't. I've had so many people do it to me. Maybe compliment their outfit, even if they have to wear compression and it's noticeable. Just be their friend, be there for them. Are there any conditions that have comorbidity with lymphedema? Well, you're at higher risk for infections, cellulitis, and blood clots. A lot of people get lymphedema as a result of cancer, but I've not had cancer, and this is hereditary for me. I've never had a blood clot, but I'm super paranoid about it, and I've had a few ultrasounds for them just to be safe. What was your experience with getting the diagnosis? So trying to get diagnosed, it was awful. I went to dozens of doctors, and when I told them my symptoms and showed them my swelling, 9 out of 10 times I heard, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. And I was given a huge list of random tests that cost me money, took years, and some were very physically painful, and ultimately got me nowhere, and have nothing to do with testing for lymphedema. Like, nothing at all. When I told my doctor who diagnosed me some of the tests that I was given, she just looked at me with her mouth like wide open, like, what? Just in complete shock. She's like, this doesn't even make sense. Why did they make you go through this? I stopped seeing doctors for a few years because of how bad my experience was, and I finally started back up. And luckily my regular doctor was out sick, so I had a call with another doctor that I've never spoken with, and she referred me to get my diagnosis. And everything since then has been pretty smooth sailing, besides my old primary care provider not believing that I have lymphedema after being diagnosed and going through treatments for it. I dropped him as my doctor. Frick that guy. All the other doctors I've worked with have been wonderful this year, though. And once I did get the diagnosis, it was a big mixed bag of emotions, and I was super overwhelmed, but all my doctors, like I said, were great, and they helped me through every step of it. And the first thing was I got diagnosed, and then I was put on a wait list for like for 3 months to go see a lymphedema doctor. And once I saw the lymphedema doctor, it was just the initial appointment where she got to meet me. I filled out some forms and like rated how like my day-to-day life was with my lymphedema, what my pain was, any activities I struggled with, any chores around the house that I couldn't do due to my condition, and just things like that, and like how it affected me mentally. It was like a little survey. And then from there I was put on a really long wait list. And then from there I was supposed to be scheduled for 2.5 weeks of treatments, which is bandaging, like really tight bandaging. Some places call it mummifying, where you go in and they wrap you up in so many layers of bandages and like foam, and whichever part is affected is just completely covered, and you sleep with it on. You keep it on the whole day, the whole night, and then you go back in, they rewrap you again, just even tighter. And this is the best way to lose fluid in the affected areas. The only thing was, it was like a 6 to 8 month wait if I wanted to do the like 2 to 3 weeks of treatment. So I like begged my doctor. I was like, please, I cannot keep living with this. It's been 10 years and I just finally got diagnosed and I just want to start this as soon as possible. So like 3 months later, I was able to do 1 week of treatment. So that's what I did. And I lost over 2 cups of fluid in the affected areas. Once we did the bandaging, I got measured for medical grade compression and my insurance covered some of that. Yippee! But I have spent hundreds of dollars on compression because my insurance only covers 3 pairs and I have to wear it every single day, and I'm wearing 3 different layers, and it didn't cover like 3 of each piece of compression. It just covered 3 pairs total. So that was fun. Not. And I was just given a routine and a lot of guidance and resources on lifestyle changes that I can make and exercises that I can do. Like I bought a rebounder, which is essentially a little trampoline. And I try to bounce on that a little bit because it's really good for your lymphs. It helps get your fluids moving and it's like easy on your joints. Essentially, I got my treatment plan and things are looking up for me. I'm going to have this condition for the rest of my life, but I'm learning to live with it better every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions about lymphedema, I guess you can ask below and I'll answer to the best of my ability. I appreciate anyone who watched this, and happy Lymphedema Awareness Day!